Hello, you're listening to the Fairweather Podcast. It's your boy 2K Suave. I'm here with my dog A-Rod, Alex Rodriguez, here in the flesh, rocking the Oakland A's hat. They're probably gonna get waxed, and I don't even know who they're playing. I think they're playing the Rockies or something because my pitcher played against them last night in fantasy. But anyway, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing good, sir. I'm doing very, very good. Got Messi behind me, PSG, whole new look.
Paris Saint-Germain.
I am by no means am I a Messi fan. I've always been a Cristiano Ronaldo fan, but I've always been a PSG fan. So
listen,
man.
The reason why y'all are Ronaldo fans because he looks better. That's the only reason why y'all just like y'all go for the handsome, man. I go for the skill.
Hey man,
and Messi got it out the mud. You know, he's short, you know, but he quick and he does everything the right way. Pele was short too.
Hey man, I like women, so Cristiano Ronaldo's not my type. Anyway, PSG's got a whole new look, man. They spent, and this is a crazy thing, like they spent $70 million on 5 players, and Manchester United spent it on 2. Granted, one of them's really, really good.
Hey,
but it just shows you like the work that they're doing at PSG and the team that they're bringing around them. It's insane. Like there's no room for failure. They got to win it all this year. So
I'm a Manchester United fan by birth. In case y'all don't know, I was born in London. So I was born to be a Man U fan. That's just how it was. But then, you know, over time I became a fan of different players. Ronaldinho was my guy for the longest time. And then my boy Messi came on the scene, and I've been a Messi fan ever since. So kind of like LeBron, wherever Messi goes, I go. So yeah, man, PSG, we going to the chip, whatever the chip is, because there's a lot of different chips in European soccer. But whatever chip we're going for all the damn chips.
Take it, man.
I want all my chips with the dip.
And I see you got the return of the king back there behind you.
Yeah, my boy Danny Green, man. You know, the biggest free agent signing this side of the Mississippi. You know, Ben Simmons not answering the phone, but Danny Green, he picked up that phone first ring. So, you know, we're about to bring Philly a ring if LeBron can't do it, Russell Westbrook and them can't do it. You know, we're gonna run it back with Danny Green and Dame Dollar on the way. Dame on the way.
We'll see about that. Today's show, like we've been saying, we're going to be running down the different divisions in the NFL. We'll break down the NFC North and the AFC North, talk about those 2 divisions. And then before we get into that, we'll touch briefly on the NBA Summer League. And I guess we can talk about Hall of Fame football.
We can talk about whatever, man. We talk about whatever, man. It's a beautiful August day.
We'll keep it brief because we've been, really lengthy on the last couple of shows getting into dissecting these divisions. It's really, really fun to us. And then for our fun segment, in lights of Dennis Schroeder playing himself.
No. His agent.
It's both.
I'm not gonna let Dennis Schroeder get all the bullets.
It's both. At the end of the day, you got to say yes and no to the agent on stuff. You can fire your agent.
Now you have to fire an agent.
Dude. Well, in the midst of Dennis Schroeder and the agent playing themselves on this whole signing of turning down an $84 million 4-year contract for a measly 5.9 1-year contract just to probably come off the bench for Boston, we decided to make a list of players that fumbled the bag big time. So
shout out to Townie Sports, by the way.
Yeah, just like Migo says, you get the bag and tumble it. You know, we're gonna shed some light on 3 of the. Well, I got 3. I don't know how many you got, but we'll just give a list of players and
we'll have some fun with it.
Bad managing on the way they handle their contracts. So that'll be our fun segment. But kick it off. Let's talk NBA Summer League. These rookies are balling, man. The picks are balling. The first 5 picks are balling in the Summer League. We got to see Cade versus Jalen, or not Jalen.
Jalen.
Jalen Green, yeah.
There's 3 Jalens in this draft.
Jalen.
You know, hey, did you know the first ever Jalen was Jalen Rose?
Yeah.
And because of him, he literally birthed a whole name. Jalen Rose has to go into the Hall of Fame for that reason alone.
Jalen Rose should just be in the Hall of Fame just for his haircuts, man. Wherever his barber is.
He does no. His barber needs his own place in the Hall of Fame, not Jalen Rose. His barber needs like a A seat at the table.
He's still on the canvas, man. Like Jalen's got the swag. I've always liked Jalen Rose.
You know what it is? He from Detroit, baby. That's how we do it, dog.
Yeah, man. He's got the swag. He's even a good sport. You know, rest in peace, Kobe. He made that commercial with him, and it's probably one of the funniest commercials ever with the 81 points.
It's crazy. You know what's crazy? 2 days before Kobe passed, I posted that on my story.
I did too.
And it was so random. It was because I think it was the anniversary of his 81.
It was, yes.
I posted it on my story on IG, and then like shit, life happened. But yeah, man, no, Jalen Rose, man. So the first ever NBA player I ever met was Jalen Rose. Mind you, I lived in Detroit, so Jalen Rose is always around. So the first ever NBA player I ever met was Jalen Rose. I met him at the airport. I actually met him and Mark Jackson actually. And then I met Grant Hill a little bit after that at a summer camp I went to. But yeah, so yeah, you know how we do in the D.
Nice. So these rookies are balling. You got to see Cade Cunningham, Jalen Green put on the show yesterday. It was fairly entertaining. And then tonight we get Jalen Suggs and Evan Mobley, which will be another good one. And then the kid that Sacramento drafted, what's his name?
Davion Mitchell.
Davion.
That's a young bull.
Yeah,
you know how we talk about Sexton and them?
Yeah. Like
he's cut from a cloth that's like he gonna get it. He
Texas ballers, man.
Exactly. Oh yeah. You could say he probably played football growing up.
Oh yeah. But the only thing that sucks for him is he's in Sacramento, and it's like they get great talent, they just don't put anything around it. So hopefully, if they can keep De'Aaron Fox, he stays happy, and Halliburton and him, they could make a good.
But think about it, all them damn guards.
It's a lot of guards, yeah. That's the thing. How many more guards do you need?
And they don't know what to do with Buddy no more because Buddy was happy to leave, and then it's just Sacramento's like ever since C Webb and them left, man, it's been a death trap ever since.
It's just like, and I don't want to stick on Sacramento too long. Like what I'll get out about them is that they'll go out and make a big signing free agency, or get a guy like a Buddy Hield who can thrive and be the number one player on that team, or a two, and then they just let him fizzle away. And then whatever draft pick they pick in the first round, they try and center everything around him and fizz everything out of the way. And then you just start to forget about players, and then they just get traded.
Bro, they gave a lot of bread to Harrison Barnes.
They did, man.
And Harrison Barnes has not done nothing for him.
I like Harrison Barnes though.
I liked him. He went to UNC, but
I just think Harrison Barnes knows his role, and he'll play whatever role you want him to play. And they wanted him to be this big player, and he just can't do it. But
we should have known that. We should have known that in 2016 NBA Finals.
Yeah, but you saw Golden State and like what they did, and everybody was just trying to get a piece of it and be like, oh, if we can take this piece, we'll do great with it, and it didn't work. So. Yeah. But Harrison Barnes is a good player, but he's not your one, not your two, maybe your three at best. So.
Yeah, let's not talk about Sacramento. Did you watch the game? You watch the game, the Detroit game?
I did, because I want to see this kid Cade Cunningham balling, bro. He is so good, man. He's good. He broke boys' ankles twice.
He did. He was reaching for them cookies. That's
he was reaching, and he's so he's a really good team player.
Yeah,
like, there were. He's a good floor general and a good vocal person to have on that team, because I was watching, they had him mic'd up, and there were times when players were walking away, he's like, yo, slap my hand, man, get back in the game, let's go, Blue. And he's very vocal, and he's a good leader, and I like to see that in him, because that's something you want out of a player right out the gates, not this hot-headed shit. And Jalen Green, man, he's a talent too. He stared him down too when he made that shot in his face. But before we get into that, the one dude that's on my radar,
I know you're gonna say
that Turkish dude, bro.
How do you say his last name?
I can't say it to save my life. I was talking to my Turkish friend, EJ's cousin. I was talking to him about Şengün, I think is his name.
So it looks like, I have in Nigeria, there's Segun, which is Şengün, which is like, that's how you would say that, but he has like an N in between. So I think it's just Şengün or something, like, I don't know.
Dude, I don't know how to say it.
Long story short, I was like, yo, who is Buddy?
I watched the first game because I want to see how the Rockets develop this talent, because if anything that Houston is good at is developing talent out of players. You see it with guys that they make good role players with. Now it's basically a blank canvas for them to do whatever the hell they want with all these players. And this kid, they were saying he's possibly the top 5 best player in this draft. And he slipped all the way down. One, because he's a foreigner. So, there's not a lot of guys that are looking into that or wanting to deal with that shit. Didn't have a translator there. They had like some lady who knew a little bit of Turkish translating it. But the last 2 games, kid's been balling. He's been putting up 20 points and 10 rebounds. And he's doing
Christian Wood go get in the way of all that, but he's nice.
Yeah, Christian Wood will definitely get in the way. But if the trade chip comes up and you can move Christian Wood and let this kid play for cheaper, I mean, it is what it is. But I like Christian Wood a lot too. He's young.
Christian Wood is a dog.
Yeah.
But my biggest takeaway from that game, just from that game, when I was watching college, I watched a couple Cade Cunningham games. He's a good player. He never really like jumped out of the screen to me like everyone, but I can see why you would draft him number 1 overall. He's the kind of player that I would actually like. Like that's the kind of player that I would gravitate to. Like just his demeanor, his calmness during the game, doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low. He makes the right play, good. He shoots well, he rebounds. I saw a couple nice dimes that he threw as well. So I'm like, yo, this kid, Cade Cunningham, solid, right? But and Green, he's the type of player that would annoy me, but he is talented. Like
that's on the show. It's our show.
I was watching the game and I was like, damn, man. Like, so the fact that he got to the free throw line, the amount of time that he got to the free throw line, you can't teach that. Like that's something that you have or you don't have.
Also, Cade got there 0 times. And
that was the other thing. Because when they looked at the final stats of the game at the end, 0 for 0 at the free throw line for Cade. I think it was 10 for 11, Jalen Green from the free throw line. I'm like, the fact that he got to that many times in a summer league game, he's already got it. Because he's already had technically playing in the G League. He's been playing summer league for the last year. So he's got summer league experience if you think about it.
And he had Brian Shaw as head coach, so
exactly. And Brian Shaw's a dog, and I used to love Brian Shaw. But yeah, like I think those two definitely. But then Jalen Suggs in Orlando, Orlando has so much talent. And remember when we did that show where we talked about the biggest winner in the draft? Listen, Cade is great and Jalen Green is great, but Jalen Suggs, they got something there. And they have Markel Fultz is bought in, and we're talking about Wendell Carter, and I was giving him a hard time. He's bought in. They have RJ Hampton, who you went in New York. Like I said, Markel Fultz. They got some dudes over in Orlando. So to me, Houston and Orlando's young talent is really, really good. Like they're not going to be great this year. Neither of them are going to be great this year. But you're going to look 2 years from now like, damn, they got something like in Orlando. They got something in Houston. I think that's going to be very good, especially with this next generation of players coming in. It's going to be good for that next generation.
I think what I took away from the game last night and I'll give you like a preview of what we'll see today too, is that one, Cade didn't go to the line, which I understand, but even the announcers were saying that they're going to have a lot of problem finding out who's going to be the main ball handler, because they were saying they want to do it with Killian Hayes too, between the two. So you didn't see Cade drive that much. He was more out on the wing and hitting jumpers like the Phoenix Suns, take notes, should have been doing during the game. So he wasn't aggressive. He was just, and I understand why. It's your first pick. You don't want him hurt. He's a very good vocal captain, so I get it.
Yeah.
And there's nothing really to play for. Yeah, you get your little championship for the summer league, whatever.
But Jalen Green looked like he had something to play for.
Yeah. So I'm gonna get that in a second. They also have Luca Garza, bro. Luca Garza won Player of the Year, and him and Cade were playing very, very well.
Garza, y'all, I said it too. Garza, they slept on him. Garza's nice.
Yeah, Garza, I hope turns out to be like a Draymond Green type of player where he just turns out.
No, he's way better than Draymond Green. He can shoot. Well, no. Whoa. Let me not say something that's a hot take. He's not better than Draymond Green. I'm talking about their style is different.
I know that. What I'm saying is like Draymond should have been a first round pick in my opinion, and he slipped to the second. Kind of like Gilbert Arenas. I mean, when I was watching Gilbert Arenas and in college, all you heard was Gilbert Arenas at Arizona.
They disrespected Gilbert.
They did. So we're going to see a good play out of Luca Garza. I think they're going to use him. He's 7 foot.
He can't defend though.
Yeah, but that's something you can probably.
It's like Doug McDermott. That's dudes that can just they can just shoot. that's what he's good
body
for.
Down low too. So I mean,
he's a big body.
You can teach it. I think he's from Iowa too. There's a bunch of softies in Iowa, man. So
nah, bro, they corn fed.
Yeah, but that's football. Basketball.
Oh yeah,
soccer.
You're too soft to play football, so go play basketball.
Exactly. Give me an old lineman from old, but a basketball player from Iowa, there ain't that many that are that great. Another thing that I took away from that game was the questions that they asked the players in the after interview too. So they asked, and I'm not trying to dog Jalen Green at all. I think he's great. I like he's definitely the number one player on that team. He'll be the focal point. But they asked him who would you play in the NBA right now? He was just like, anybody. I'll play anybody. That's who I want to play. And they asked Cade. He was like, truthfully, he's like, I want to beat the Bucks. Like they won the NBA championship. They're the champions. Plus they're in my division. Like he came with his homework. He answered the question a very good way.
Cade is polished. He's a polished.
He's a very polished guy. Yeah,
he gets it already.
His mommy's white, so he gets it. He says all the syllables. But he got a daughter, so he's definitely skinning the game.
On top. Yeah, he's mature. He's polished. It makes sense.
And then they asked Green at the end of the game, did you have something to play for? He was like, I felt like I should have been the number one pick. I was like, yo, come on, man.
I liked it.
It's not bad.
Talk your shit.
But I like humbleness. I really like a lot of humbleness.
Oh, I do too, of course.
You got into the game. You're being blessed at the number 2 pick, and you beat the number 1 pick, and you did great, man. Just go out there and ball, man. But he's half Filipino. My best friend is Filipino. I always say I was Filipino in another life. So more power to him. I like the kid. I like them both. I'm probably gonna get a green jersey. So gotta get something from Houston. But tonight's game, we're just like you said, the Rockets have a lot of young talent, but the Magic too, man. It's so crazy because there's so many players. This is what I hate about the Magic and love it at the same time is they draft so well, but they draft so many players that could potentially be superstars or stars on their team, and then they just have to buy into being role players. And I kind of can't stand that because you saw Cole Anthony just play very, very well last year. Like he was definitely going to be a starting point guard.
I forgot about Cole Anthony. That's another guard. Damn.
So Cole Anthony at the point, we don't know what's going to happen to Fultz. It's unfortunate his injuries. And then Jalen Suggs, like you can't let this guy off the bench. You can't forget about him. Okay. You forgot about a lot of your players in the system.
And they got RJ Hampton. Damn.
RJ Hampton. And they got both Wagner brothers. And they got Mo Bamba and they got Wendell Carter. This is a good young.
Yeah, we're not gonna count Mo Bamba. Mo Bamba's been a disappointment.
Send him to New York. I don't care.
And they got Michael Carter Williams too.
Yeah, Michael Carter Williams is like the oldest man on that team outside of Terrence Ross. So I mean, they got a good young nucleus. It's just, are these kids? And I feel like Jalen Suggs and Cole Anthony will buy into like, okay, we know our roles on the team, but can everybody else do that? Because there's some guys that. Well, Wendell Carter was a three overall pick, right? 2 or 3.
Wendell Carter was a 4th, I think.
Well, he was, top 5.
Top 5. He was top 5.
So, like, those kind of things go to your head. Like, I was a top 5 pick, man. Why am I not the focal point anymore? Well, bro, you suck. Like, you're not that good. That's why you were trade bait. So, we use the fact that you were a 4 or 5 pick to get this guy.
Number 7. He was number 7.
All right, well, regardless, he's top 10. Like,
but like you said, because you did mention him last week or 2 weeks ago, and I was like, I poo-pooed it at first, but then, went back and looked. I mean, it's not like he's horrible. Like, he's going to be a good player. But the problem is that they're going from Vucevic to him. Vucevic was an all-star, perennial all-star.
I think
they went from Vucevic to him.
I think the other thing is, too, is like you need the right tutelage from players. So
yeah, that's it.
You don't have like a good seasoned veteran on your team that's actually a worth of shit.
Because that don't exist no more in the NBA.
I feel like it does.
You don't really see veteran, like all the veteran guys that would normally used to be in the NBA long term, they're all playing the big 3 now with Ice Cube in them. So like they don't stick around to ride the bench no more. They still in the ball, so they go to the big 3.
Unless you Udonis Haslem, shout out, just signed again for 19.
Bro, that dude, bro, he should be an assistant coach by now.
He basically is.
He is. They're paying him to be a player, but he's really an assistant coach. Like that's how they deal with Alonzo Mourning.
I just think like there's certain. It's like the Grizzlies. Look at the Grizzlies for example. They blew up the whole shit, and they said, "All right, we're gonna go get like we dismantled the Gasol, the Randolph, the Conley, the Gay, the whoever else was there." Squad, and we're gonna get young, and they did that. They went and got young,
and they got a playoff seed out of it,
and they did exactly
in the West. On top of that,
that's a rare way of this thing to happen. Just kind of like how New Orleans did it. So we're gonna get rid of Anthony Davis, Boogie Cousins, Drew Holiday, and we're gonna bring in this, and they're just not doing it right. So hopefully Orlando, hopefully Houston can learn from this. But tonight you get to see Jalen Suggs, Evan Mobley, and I think they're both gonna do very, very well together, depending who Cleveland rolls out there. I'm pretty sure. Land will be there with Mobley, and I think it'll be entertaining, and Okoro will be there, so we'll see.
You know what? My one takeaway from Summer League before we move on: why is Michael Beasley playing in the Summer League?
You see, there's 3 players that are playing for Portland. That
Kenneth Reed,
Michael
Beasley were the 2 that stood out to me.
There's one more.
Michael Beasley is, bro. He's a number 2 overall pick.
Because he smokes a lot of weed, man.
Well, he's an offensive guru. He should not be. And I understand he's trying to get a job, but then go to the Drew League like Isaiah Thomas. Go drop 81, and the Lakers might be calling your phone. You know what I mean? Like, go do that.
But even at that, you saw that's a prime example. You saw him get all emotional and be like, "They gave up on me." They do. They give up on these players. Don't forget that Kenneth Reed was the focal point for the Nuggets for like 2 seasons, and then
why do the summer go play in the Big 3? Dog, Joe Johnson was MVP of the Big 3 last year, and he got another contract. Like, go play in the Big 3. Go play with other NBA players. Don't be playing with these 19-year-olds. That's like you're wasting your talent. I
do agree with you, but I also, and this is a topic we should talk on another show, is like why the NBA gives up on players, and I think it's one because some of them aren't mentally stable, and I think they're doing well with like the mental health issues going on and that being brought up and them looking into stuff like that. But I also think like they just get word of mouth from people, and it's just like one of those so I know you're in a fraternity, but like one of those like fraternity boy things, like, oh, my boy said this about this guy. Oh yeah, that's probably how it is, and it just becomes a trickle down effect of like, don't get him because of this.
That's probably what happened to Dennis Schroeder. Everyone knew he was playing for a contract last year. And I said it from the jump. I said, yeah, he's talented, but he's playing for a contract. And you could watch him play and know he was playing for a contract. So all these dudes got signed and nobody rang his phone. And that's because it came down. I'm pretty sure LeBron said something to Pelinka. Pelinka said something to this GM and that GM. They all talk. And I know what he was looking for was probably astronomical, but they kind of probably worked something out with him. Like, all right, we're gonna give you 2 years, $40 million or something like that, instead of a longer deal. But they knew Dennis Schroeder is not, and that's why. And I told Townie Sports that. Well, I don't know if I told them, but what I'm going to tell them when I see them is going to be Dennis Schroeder being there is a detriment to the team. Why? Because he's on another contract year, and he's not going to be happy there. So it's like. And when that word comes out, like he cared more for the contract than for the team's success. That word goes around. Same thing. Michael Beasley. We know Michael Beasley is a headache. We know he does a lot of drugs. We know he gets in trouble. But there's a lot more that goes into that, especially with the older guys. If they're gonna pay somebody $4 million, I might as well pay a 19-year-old $4 million who can actually provide something for the next couple of years than a 37-year-old who only has a couple of years left on his legs. So
yeah,
it's a lot.
Weird to see that, but oh well, that's their doing. So
Sengun.
Blazers are taking their chance on that.
Let's go Kenneth Reed, the Manimal.
Yeah, the Manimal. I like that guy too, man.
Oh, and Nesmith from Boston. He's solid too. He dropped like 33 or something last night. He good too. And Pritchard was playing last night too. Pritchard gonna get more minutes than what's his name? Then Gold Patch. Dennis Schroeder.
Sure. Yeah, they're gonna go young.
Let's go, Pritchard.
Yeah, so let's switch it to NFL now. So
let's do it.
We saw the Hall of Fame inductees get their gold bust, their gold jackets, all of that. They all talked. And to be honest, I feel like it's the greatest Hall of Fame class inducted into the.
Bro, they say that every year. Every year.
I
You know
know,
why
but
we say that every year? Because it's our era.
it is. But like it was really good to see it. Like all those guys get put up there. Like Megatron was on there.
Deserved it.
John Lynch, very well deserving after two
Deserved it.
failed attempts. Bill Cowher. Who else was it? Edrin
Jimmy
James,
Johnson.
Jimmy Johnson. Finally,
Peyton
Peyton
Manning.
Manning. Yeah, like there's a lot of Troy Polamalu. Like
Shorty finally got in. I mean,
a lot
not
of
finally,
big
but he
names
got in.
there. So it was good to see that. It was the best quote of the night. I went from gold tee to gold jacket. Like that was the best from Edrin James.
Oh, and go blue, Charles Woodson. Don't ever forget.
How can I? That's my favorite
How
player.
dare you forget?
I forget Charles Woodson, who sang "Mama" to his mom. So it's just touching to see a lot of those guys because Charles Woodson was my favorite player. I was always a defensive like guy, so I like defensive players, and he's we say it all the time. Green Bay, what did you need? Corner. Won a Super Bowl then. So I don't know, man. It was just heartwarming to see all of that. Finally, Peyton's there, and in my personal opinion, just like looking at other drafts, Hall of Fame inductees, this is a big one, and there's just a lot of big names on there too, man. Like really big ones, first timers too that just got thrown in there.
So, yeah, I mean it was a good class. I mean, growing up as an Eagles fan, the player that I supported the most was Peyton Manning. I just like as a quarterback how down to earth he was. At the time, we didn't know Tom Brady was this funny and this cool. Yeah. He wasn't drinking avocado tequila back then in that New England, Darth Vader shit that was going on, dark side shit that was going on in New England. Yeah. Meanwhile, Peyton Manning's over in Indy. He's having, you could tell his teammates loved him, but he's still going to produce. He was still, cool and fun. And, if Tom Brady wasn't in the NFL, Peyton Manning would have himself like 8 rings himself. But it was nice to see him in there. That was for me. And then Megatron. I mean, Megatron is just, I always support anybody who's from Detroit, plays for Detroit, anything from Detroit. I always support those guys. He put, he's, Barry Sanders, the greatest running back of all time, and and Calvin Johnson's not the greatest receiver, but he put Detroit on the map, and they never won shit while he was there. Yeah. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Yeah,
man. He just retired abruptly, just like Barry Sanders, man.
Like, you know what? That to you, man. I'm done with this NFL shit, man. This can't be life.
The Patriots were calling him too. They were like, Bill was like, come play with us. You might not be our number one, but you'll win a Super Bowl. And he was just like, I'm good, man. I don't want to do this shit anymore. So
it was a good class though. I'm happy with everybody in there. I mean, Troy. I mean, come on, man. Troy Polamalu, man. Come on, man. There's great names in this ceremony, at least. It was definitely a good time.
Yeah, it was really, really enjoyable. But all right, let's go while we're here. You know why we're here, so we're doing breakdowns. You want to start? North AFC or
let's start with the NFC, man. Let's kick it off the bat with the Packers, bro. Let's do it.
All right, so let's break down the Packers organization. So
King of the North.
We all know the drama going around Aaron Rodgers. We always want to talk about it and make a segment on every show.
I've been waiting for this segment.
We want to bring in Nick to give insight, but let's run down all of their additions, departures, picks, and we'll give a record prediction at the end. So key additions, they bring back Aaron Rodgers on a 1-year deal, right? To come.
He's still signed to 2023, but there's a quote unquote handshake agreement at the end of the year
that they can part ways.
But the problem is that they're gonna trade him. Yeah, he's not like how Brady's deal. He made him a free agent. The Packers deal is he's still on the roster and they can trade him, which is weird. But we'll get to that.
Yeah. So Rodgers is back. So I guess you could throw that in as a key addition. They've re-signed Aaron Jones. They went and listened to their quarterback and traded to get Randall Cobb. And for God, I don't know why they re-signed Kevin King. Those are the biggest additions that I can see. Now the key.
Can I cut you off real quick?
Yeah.
So I was looking at the list of key additions that you sent me. I saw Kevin King on there. And I was about to text you a long 5-page message about how terrible Kevin King was. But I was like, I'm sure there's a reason why he put his name on there.
Oh yeah, for comedy purposes, man.
For comedic relief.
Absolutely, and it'll feed into one of my things on here too. So, key departures though, Jamal Williams is gone. Tavon Austin, I don't even think he had a big of a role, but he's like a name people will know. And center Corey Lindsey is gone. Now the draft picks they got: Eric Stokes, cornerback, Georgia. I think Campbell was better, but they took him. Why? Because of speed, and Kevin King got burnt nonstop. Center Josh Myers and wide receiver Amari Rodgers are the three big ones that I could put on that list. But yeah, talk about the Packers season. You go first. I know you've been wanting to talk about this for a while now. So
the only key addition that really freaking mattered was the fact that they did not lose Aaron Rodgers this season. So that is, to me, everything else that happened, who really cares? So like, obviously this whole Aaron Rodgers situation, we knew, he did his press conference and we knew everything he said, he was kind of preaching to the choir because we knew, like, he doesn't have involvement with this, that, and the third. He wasn't informed about this, that, and the third. And they don't respect the talent that's over there historically. That's what it seems like, according to him. And he pointed out some names that I agree with. Some I'm like, well, they're probably on their last legs anyway, so they're just doing the business thing and the team thing. Like the Patriots always trade a player before they're actually bad because they know they're about to be bad, kind of thing. So the Packers kind of adopted a little bit of the mentality. So I understood that from the Packers side. But long story short, they quote unquote squash what they need to squash, and Aaron Rodgers is back for one last dance. Apparently, if you read between the lines and look at social media, that's the notion that we're getting here. This is the 98 Bulls. Is the one last dance. Devontae hasn't resigned yet, so who knows what's going on with that? That's going to be in the back of their heads. Kevin King, God. He got destroyed by Scott, man. Yeah. Luckily, they I don't know. They drafted somebody, but he's not that great. He's a project, so it's gonna be the same problem again. They're gonna get burnt again. So to me, yes, they kept Aaron Rodgers, right? But the team is worse now than it was last year. I think some of the departures, like Jamal Williams, may not seem that big, but Jamal Williams takes a lot of the load from Aaron Jones. And then A.J. Dillon, to me, is not.
He's big.
He's like a big dude. Like, he's not Jamal. Jamal Williams would do a lot. He was a better pass catcher. He ran those aggressive guards as well. I feel like Jamal Williams was a better fit for what they were doing as a number 2 to Aaron Jones. But they kept Aaron Jones, which is great. They kept Devontae, and they have Aaron Rodgers. So the big three is still there, but their offensive line is worse than what it was last year. They lost some key names. I look at Pro Football Focus when I look at offensive line ratings. So every team that we talk about today, I looked at the PFF rating and I looked at who they lost and who they replaced them with. Going into the season, PFF has them as the 16th best offensive line, aka middle of the pack. Okay, we already know Aaron Rodgers has dealt with different injuries here and there because his offensive line hasn't protected him the best. We've had what do you call that? Not the clavicle, but collarbone. We've had some shoulder things. We had some things going on injury-wise, which I'm not okay with, and we're gonna find out during this preseason because A-Rod's not playing, but Jordan Love is. So we're gonna see how good Jordan Love is this preseason, just in case Aaron Rodgers gets hurt. But offensive line is not great. No more Corey Lindsey, more Rick Wagner. They drafted Josh Myers, but damn, he's a baby.
Rookies like they look great on paper, but you don't know what you're gonna get.
He's a baby. You don't know what to expect. I like the Amari Rodgers draft pick from Clemson, but there was no point in getting Randall Cobb if you're gonna get Amari Rodgers because Amari Rodgers comp is Randall Cobb.
I think the Randall Cobb trade was like a demand. Like
it was. Oh no,
happy go get it.
1,000%.
I bet when they got Cobb, he was like, "Now go get Kumaro."
Hey, you see how Kumaro's still not on the team? They're like, "Nah, we'll get you Cobb, but we ain't getting that dude. So, but yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I understand as a quarterback, as the best player on your team, you want to have a couple people that you're just close with. So they got Devontae, they got they got Amari Rodgers, they got Cobb back, they got MVS from USF Go Bulls. They're gonna have Lazard. Their receiver core is still intact. Offensive line's a little suspect. The defense will be pretty decent, pretty good. But to me, they are still a little bit worse than last year. Not so significant where they're going to be terrible. But I do think that whatever negotiations they had in place as far as bringing Aaron Rodgers back, the Packers ended up winning that little stalemate, that little stare off. Like gunslinger in the old westerns, and you take 10 paces, turn around and shoot. I think Green Bay, I think they got a little bit of Aaron Rodgers in the leg, and Aaron Rodgers, probably got him in the foot, but the leg hurts more than the foot. So I'm giving Green Bay the edge on that little stare off they had. But I mean, to me, they're still the best team in the NFC North. That's whatever it comes down to. They're still the best team in the NFC North. That's king in the North for me.
I agree. Before we give our predictions, let me talk real quick. I do like the Amari Rodgers draft pick. The Stokes one, I know why they did it, because he's quick. So they saw that Scotty Miller just torch their ass and torch Kevin King three times.
You remember that play at the end of that half? That to me was the reason why the Bucs won that game.
Yeah, I agree too.
And the fact that they didn't address that more aggressively to go replace. I mean, Jair Alexander's a top 3 corner in his league. You got to have another dog on the other side. And if the best you can do is re-signing him and drafting a project,
yeah,
I don't like it.
I don't like it either. I think that they would have got Campbell, the other corner from Georgia who was there, would have made more sense. Now you got 2 lockdown good corners there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this guy Stokes might be a little bit quicker than you, but get a safety that's actually worth a shit and put him out there so he can go help out.
Yeah.
But these lockdown corners, when they're considered lockdown corners, they're lockdown corners.
Yeah, they put your hands on you, they redirect you, they make you run a route you don't want to run the right way. I mean, speed is not everything, man. It's not everything.
But retaining Aaron Jones is big. Losing Jamal Adams, I've always said that Jamal Adams can be a 1 on the team. He originally was the 1 on the team until Aaron Jones decided to take the reins. But he knew his role. He's a very weird person, and I wish him the best in Detroit.
Dog.
But, yeah.
Yes.
We'll get there in a second.
He's not fit that.
It's a perfect landing spot for him. But
that coach.
Yeah.
He's weird ass.
So they're expecting, they're showing a lot of pictures of AJ Dillon cutting weight, big legs, all this stuff. I mean, the guy's just super huge. I'm not trying to bash him, but we'll see what we get out of him. Hopefully he proves us both wrong, because I like him. I just don't know if he's the number 2. And they drafted another guy, I think out of Mississippi State, running back there. So, I mean, that could maybe propel up the depth chart. You don't know. But Randall Cobb, I like that signing because, one, it's a guy he has chemistry with. It's a guy that plays the slot, and they need a slot receiver. And you still got Devontae Adams and Valdez-Scantling and
Alan
Lazard.
They picked up Devin Funchess.
Yeah, he was there last year too, but he opted out for COVID.
That's right.
So there's a question mark there with Funchess. And then the tight end he's got really good rapport with the tight end, after 1 year. So
he's his new Kumaro.
Yeah. But if he puts up the numbers he put up last year, he could be a top 10 tight end and possibly ask for a bag 1 year. And you never know what could happen with him.
He'll never get a bag.
But you never know. Aaron Rodgers makes you better. You never know. There's an idiot born every day. But their O-line got worse. And they went from having one of the best O-lines in football to everybody leaving to get bags. And now it's just it's like Afghanistan, bombed and depleted, bro. So maybe they can make a trade in the season, or maybe they can get a guy who's on waivers, or develop players into better O-linemen. You never know. They always end up somehow making good O linemen in Green Bay, but on paper it just doesn't look good. And then the defense is just, it's the same. I honestly think they should have went out and got JJ Watt. That would have made them way, way better.
From Wisconsin.
Yeah, from Wisconsin. It all made sense. Everybody thought that, but it didn't happen. I think Aaron called him, was like, don't come here because I'm not going to be here. And that's
well, there's a lot of uncertainty.
Yeah. Yeah. But I bet you Aaron called him. He was like, I don't know if I'm going to be here. Pull that Magic Johnson. I ain't gonna be here. Yeah, so it's all up in the air, but they still are the best team in the NFC North, and I'm gonna give them a predicted record of 13-4. That's what I'm gonna give them for the season.
So it's easy just to give a record. So I like to go with schedule. You know how we all do when the schedule comes out. As a Jets fan, as an Eagles fan, L. For you, L. For me, L. Win. For the Packers, I look at the schedule, and based on this, so how I do it, based on the schedule, I have if I was Vegas, I would set their over under at 12.5. So basically, I'm between 12 and 13 wins. But when you have Aaron Rodgers, you got to take the over. So I'm going 13-4.
Yeah, I like that too. Also, it's just like it's like a petty argument between the two of like what's going on. Like, does Aaron want to really give it his all, or is he just like whatever? But I think he's a natural competitor. So
listen,
like that.
Exactly. And
but he's been very petty about this the whole entire.
Of course he's been petty.
I think he should be though.
Listen, LeBron didn't want to come back to Cleveland after all that stuff Dan Gilbert said about him. Came back and gave him a championship. I think Aaron Rodgers, deep in his heart, loves Green Bay. He just hates the management there. And I'm pretty sure he wants to give him at least one more. He proved last year, you draft Jordan Love, I'm going to have a unanimous MVP season. Now, I'm going to be petty all summer, try out for Jeopardy, go to play golf and go get high in Hawaii, and then come back and I'm going to try to win you a Super Bowl. Also, then I'm going to leave while I'm on top.
Yeah. And where the fuck is BJ Raji? Because didn't he say he was going to come back into the NFL?
Did he?
He said he retired and he's like, I'm going to take a year off, but I'll probably be back.
I did. I remember hearing now, man, look, all that to me, this Packer team is the Packer team you're going to see. The only move they can make during the season is somebody gets hurt, and it's going to be somebody off a waiver. It's not going to. I don't think they're going to make any significant trades.
They're not going to make anything big.
Because at the end of the day, they still want to keep Devontae Adams, and Devontae is going to command top dollar.
And at the end of the day, too, like they're going to be petty. They're like at the same time, like if he wants to leave, win with this team. Prove it to us that you're like committed. If you're committed to us, we'll make moves. If you're not, win with this team. So
Aaron Rodgers is not a sucker. He's not trying to lose. Last year, he gave it his all after they did not call him about Jordan Love. This year, I think he's going for that damn. That playoff game against the Bucs, man. Listen, I remember I've watched that game twice now because I'm like, the Packers don't realize how easily they should have won that game. But it's literally like 3 or 4 plays. And that's where literally 3 or 4 plays was the difference between the Bucs being out in the conference championship to being a Super Bowl champion. It's literally that simple. So, and Aaron Rodgers, I know he's watched that game a couple of times. He knew he should have ran on that third down. They knew they shouldn't have kicked that field goal, let him go out again. They knew all that stuff. So they knew Kevin King could not cover Scotty Miller. Like they knew.
Anyone.
So
white boy burned you, bro.
That boy fast. Remember he kept saying he could race Tyreek Hill. Remember that?
He don't want the smoke.
He wanted the smoke. That confidence was all I needed to hear. Like, you want to race Tyreek? Wow, this dude's crazy.
All right, let's go next team. Let's go Bears.
Bears.
So Bears got a new lay of the land. They got a quarterback. They don't know what they're going to do. Who's going to start week 1? I think they had a solid draft. I think looking at it, but key additions. They re-signed the Red Rocket.
They signed. They recently signed him because he was on Cowboys last year.
That's right. Yeah, he was with the Cowboys. So they signed Andy Dalton. They got running back Damian Williams from the Chiefs, who didn't want to play last year. They went and got a speedsters in Marquise Goodwin, Justin Hardy, They franchise tag Allen Robinson and couldn't work out a deal. So it looks like this is his last year in Chicago. They went out and got a tight end that was solid in Pittsburgh. Didn't do anything in Detroit because it's Detroit and Jesse James. They re-signed Mario Edwards. They went and got Alec Ogletree, who's a good depth linebacker, possible starter. They got Artie Burns from Pittsburgh. They got Desmond Trufant, and then they re-signed Tayshaun Gibson. Now, the key departures, they finally washed their hands with the dumbest pick that they've ever made with Mitchell Trubisky. They traded Anthony Miller, who I guess didn't want to be there, who everyone thought was going to be really good and just didn't do anything. Cordell Patterson's gone. He's in Atlanta, I think, now. Kyle Fuller is gone.
Atlanta,
and Buster Scrane is gone, too, who's a good nickel slot corner. And then they draft Justin Fields, who the Jets should have took, and offensive tackle Tevin Jenkins from Oklahoma State, I think, right? Yeah, Oklahoma State.
I was going to say yes.
Yeah. So there's two good picks right there because they were having Tevin Jenkins going in the first round. Looking at it, I think they've added a lot of good pieces around the team in general, because you look, who's going to be your quarterback is the real question. Who are you going to roll out there? And then running back wise, you've got three decent running backs. I think Montgomery's very underrated. But now you've got
he got really good last year. He got a lot better.
He's good at the second half of the year all the time. Damian Williams is a guy that maybe will light the fire under his ass and be like, look, I'll take your job from you if you don't do good, the first 5 games. So Damian Williams is there, but also Damian Williams played for Kansas City, where running backs thrive big time there. And then they got faster on the wide receiver part, which I think is better for them. And they've got Allen Robinson. Hopefully he's in it to win it. And the defense is the defense. It's always been good, and they just got guys to plug. Yeah, these guys. I think losing Kyle Fuller sucks, but I think you can try and make up for some of that with Desmond Trufant and Artie Burns. I don't think that's that bad of a signing. But yeah, man, I think they're the second best team in the AFC North, or in the NFC North, though, just looking at it on paper. Because then you still got Khalil Mack. You got what's the safety that's over there? Jackson or whatever his name is. There's still a lot of good players on that team. And I got no beef with them. I got no beef with
Eddie Jackson, yeah.
I think it is a make or break year for Matt Nagy, though, who I like as a head coach. So I think
he'd have been better. He'd never mind. I'm not gonna get to it right now. So Chicago, the Bears. My first point: do your fans a favor and start Justin Fields.
Just start him.
Just stop BSing. Like, look, Andy Dalton, got to the Cowboys last year. As an Eagles fan, unfortunately, I am asked to watch a lot of Cowboys and Giants games and football team. Well, I like watching football team because I don't hate them. But I watch a lot of Cowboys and Giants because those are my 2 biggest rivals. So I need to know what my biggest rivals are doing, right? They brought in Andy Dalton, and he was not great at all. Like, he was not good. And to me, his best days are way, way behind him. So that's a lost cause. Nick Foles doesn't even want to be there. They asked him about the Colts like a week or 2 ago when Carson Wentz got hurt. And he was like basically saying, yeah, I'm just going to be this third string. I would love Frank Reich is the greatest coach I ever played with. And
he's doing the best McCown impression right now, basically. So
I'm like, bro, he doesn't even want to be in Chicago anymore, first of all. Second of all, when he was your starter, obviously there's a reason why you didn't want him to be your starter. That's why you went and got Justin Fields. Fields, that offensive line is not good. They're not that good. They got Tevin Jenkins, but he's a baby as well. Outside of that, they don't really have too much talent on offensive line. You go get you have a quarterback that can at least move around in the pocket and protect himself while he's not going to be protected by his line. Do your fans a favor and have Justin Fields as your quarterback. He's a very I've never been big on Ohio State quarterbacks. I've talked about this before. They've always had a reputation to be sucking in the NFL as great as they are in college, right? Justin Fields is the exception to the rule. Like, you know how Alabama used to always suck their quarterback too? Well, now look at them. They got Jalen Hurts, they got Tua, they got Mac Jones, they got what's his name coming down the pipeline. They got now they came with the times. Justin Fields is the best man for the job for Ohio State and for the Chicago Bears. So just start him. Don't even look back. Like last year, you know how like they tried to like, oh, Tyrod Taylor. Like same thing they did with Tyrod Taylor both in Cleveland and in San Diego or LA. Tyrod Taylor's our starter. Baker came in there and lit it up. Justin Herbert came in there and lit it up. So stop wasting time. Let Justin Fields start, okay? Second, you mentioned it, Kyle Fuller. I do not like them losing Kyle Fuller. Trufant is a good corner too, but I think Kyle Fuller is just better personally. So
Trufant's older now too. So.
Yeah, so those are going to be big shoes to kind of fill. But Eddie Jackson being back there is going to be, takes away a lot of that. And then their front. I mean, they got Khalil Mack. I mean, damn, they got Eddie Goldman. They're going to be good up front. The linebackers are going to be good. What's his name? Roquan Smith. I mean, damn, you know what I mean? So they're going to be fine up front. The corners will take care of itself. So the defense is going to be the defense. And I always say, give me a good defense and a good offensive line, and we got a chance. The problem is they don't have a good offensive line. So good defense, not a great offensive line, good weapons. I do like the running back situation with Tariq Cohen is, I think he's hurt right now, but Tariq Cohen is
he'll come back though.
Their most dynamic player. Montgomery is their best running back, still better than Damian Williams as far as just pure running back. Yeah. And then A-Rob's a dog. They got other talent out there, but given the fact that they don't know who they're going to start at quarterback. But when they do start Justin Fields, he is still a rookie. So don't expect too much out of him. I know you said that you got him as the second best team in the NFC North. I beg to differ. I do beg to differ. Matt Nagy, I do like him, but they'll call it. I know they messed up by drafting Trubisky, but to call a spade, he didn't do a good job, Trubisky, because Trubisky was. I mean, he never picked it up, and then he tried Nick Foles, and he never picked it up, and then they announced Andy Dalton was the starter the day they signed him. So to me, there's too much shit going on in Chicago. I don't like the dysfunction. I don't like the offensive line. I like the weapons that they have. I think weapons wise and defense wise, they should be a solid team, but I'm not sold yet.
All right. Record prediction.
You go first.
It's going to be slow in the beginning, but I say if Dalton starts, it's going to be rocky, and it's going to be, I put him at 8-9. If they start with Fields, I'll give him one more win. I'll give him 9-8.
I looked at the schedule, and
to me, going to win them games though. Defense will win them all the games.
The defense is going to win them a lot of games. Keep in mind, the Bears beat the Bucs last year, so it's not like they can't win games. But I looked at the schedule, and the best I could give them was 7-10. I think 6.5 was my over/under that I was looking at, and I'm between 6 and 7 wins. I'm gonna just go on a limb, and they don't get the quarterback situation right at first, and they lose a couple games that they shouldn't lose. The offensive line doesn't help them, and somebody gets hurt or something. I'm gonna just say 6-11. Okay. I could and listen, this is one that I could probably way off on, but there's some holes that just need to be addressed.
There's holes, and it's just like, as much as we'll get to him in a second, Dan Campbell is a maniac. Like he tells you straight up how it is there. Like if his players like stab another one, he's like, I liked it and I enjoyed it. I want that to happen. Like,
listen, man, we'll get to Detroit. We'll get to Detroit.
Yeah, I'm really happy to talk about them.
We'll get to Detroit. But yeah, I want to give them 8 wins. I really do. I would like to give them 8, but and because to me, Chicago's not a bad franchise where they just, they're not the Lions where they just screw it up all the time. They're always been a decent franchise, but 7 wins is me being like very like being nice, and 6 is me being kind of realistic. That's just where I'm at right now, and that could be dead wrong, but that's where I'm at.
Let's see what happens there. All right, let's go Vikings. We get to see Jefferson really budding into a really good player after year 1.
Don't remind me.
We get to see that. There's a changing of the guard at the tight end position. You get to see Irv Smith taking over now. And they had I think a decent offseason looking at it on paper. So key additions, they went and added to the wide receiver core. They got D.D. Westbrook coming in there now to be a 3. They went and got Sheldon Richardson again after the Browns said, we don't want you. They went and got Davlin Tomlinson from the Giants. They got cornerback Mackenzie Alexander, who knows that defense. Played a year or 2, I think, in the Bengals. They got Bashaud Breeland now. He was with Kansas City, right? Or with the Bears, one of the 2. They got possibly one of the best cornerbacks in all of football for the last 10 years in Patrick Peterson. And then they've got safety Xavier Woods, who I felt was under the radar safety in Dallas. So those are some good key additions, in my opinion, to add. Key departures now. Kyle Rudolph had one really good year and did nothing. He's a good blocker, but Irv Smith is young and hungry.
Irv.
They lost Irv. They lost linebacker Todd Davis, easily expendable. They lost cornerback Mike Hughes, safety Anthony Harris, which I thought was where they traded him, and kicker Dan Bailey, which you can replace him. He started off hot and got really, really cold towards the end. But I feel like all the moves they made are the right moves. And then in the draft, you get Christian Darrisaw. You went and got QB Kellen Mond, which is a good pick, I think. And all these guys here, they got 3 players in the 3rd round. Linebacker Chaz Surratt, guard Wyatt Davis, and Patrick Jones III. So that's 3 players you got in the 3rd round. You've messed around and got a triple-double in the 3rd round. So they drafted well, and they definitely addressed the pieces that have been missed. I feel like it was kind of like, I don't want to say a money ball way of looking because you're drafting players and you have to pay them, but they're definitely young projects that can definitely fill the holes. And then you went and got 2 players that know your defense already, and then the best cornerback in all of footballs for the last 10 years in Patrick Peterson. So
one of,
yeah. So I like everything that they did. Usually the Vikings, they fuck up all the time. There's always something that they miss. Like they needed a D-line, and they went and got all those guys in Ngakoue and whoever else, and they all got rid of them. And you're just like scratching your head, like, why did you do this? But I feel like this year they addressed everything they need. You've got a great running back. You've got an okay O-line. You know, we always give homeboy, the quarterback, a lot of shit. But he's not horrible, but he makes some questionable things. But you got a guy there in Kellen Mond who can dethrone him if it happens to go that way. And the defense is decent. So go. You give me your takeaways.
The Vikings. I'm not gonna lie, man. I like the Vikings. I like the Vikings roster. Again, the reason why I got, when Justin Jefferson, man, the Philadelphia Eagles drafted Jalen Reagor before Justin Jefferson. I would never get over this. We drafted J.J. Arcega-Whiteside over the dude from Seattle. What's his name? The strong guy.
Oh, Metcalf, yeah.
DK Metcalf. And then we drafted Jalen Reagor over Justin Jefferson. We got Devontae Smith, but we could have had a damn Justin Jefferson and a DK Metcalf. But that's besides the point. I love Justin Jefferson. I love Adam Thielen. I like the D.D. Westbrook pickup a lot. I love the Patrick Peterson pickup. Rashawn Breeland. They still got Daniil Hunter. Dalvin Cook is a dog. I like the draft picks of Wyatt Davis and Darrisaw. I like Harrison Smith. I really do like the roster. My only problem or issue I can take is from a leadership standpoint. Head coach Mike Zimmer and quarterback Kirk Cousins. Those are the two weak links. weak links. I don't know what I'm gonna get from Cousins week to week, because Cousins has the talent, but then he doesn't have the talent. Like it's just way too wishy-washy, way too like, damn, which Kirk Cousins we gonna get this week? To me,
300 yards, we're gonna get 84 yards.
Like, and he'll have a great game, but in the fourth quarter, 6 minutes left, he's gonna make the worst possible decision and literally lose. Like, he's one of those guys that can actually lose you a game at quarterback. And there's not too many guys. There are a few guys like that. Like that's how I felt about Jameis. Jameis is so good, but so bad at the same time. Kirk Cousins is so good, but he can be so bad at the same time. So he does worry me. Again, I looked at the offensive line. They are 27th ranked on PFF, but they addressed it with Darisaw. They addressed it getting Wyatt Davis. I think that helps a lot. They are rookies, and I'm always skeptical about rookies. Darisaw I think he was the highest rated offensive lineman in college.
He's a D line.
No, he's offensive lineman.
Darisaw's a D line, bro.
Christian Darisaw is an offensive tackle. Look it up.
Is he? Oh,
come on, man.
My bad.
Look it up.
I'm getting him mixed up with another
Barmore.
Guy. Yeah, Barmore.
You're probably thinking about Barmore.
Yeah.
I don't know. But anyway, Darisaw's an offensive tackle. So they addressed some needs that they need with those two. And then they still got Dalvin Cook. So at the end of the day, if Mike Zimmer and staff has some common sense, we gonna make sure that we keep Dalvin Cook healthy, but we gonna make sure that he's our feature. And at the same time, we're gonna play off of that with Justin Jefferson on this side, and we have Adam Thielen on this side, and then we have D.D. Westbrook right here. So to me,
don't forget Irv.
And Irv right down the middle. So to me, offensively, they're fine. Quarterback just got to figure it out. Defensively, they're good. So I like them.
Yeah, I like them. It's funny because like they lose guys and then they get guys, and they did a really good job retooling this team. I mean, Sheldon Richardson. I mean, Dan, that's great. So it's like most underrated D-line player in all of football. And
a lot of it's on him, but talent-wise, yeah, talent-wise.
Don't get caught with a bunch of weed and a midget in your SUV, bro.
And again, a lot of it's on him. But as far as talent, that he's a dog. So I like this Vikings team. I'm not even gonna lie. I like this Vikings team.
The record I'm gonna give them, also 9-8. That's the record I'm gonna give.
I give them 10-7.
I like that too.
I give them 10-7. I looked at the schedule. The schedule is not easy. Like the NFC North schedule is not easy this year, but I like this team. I'm gonna give them 10-7.
I like it too, and I hope I really like Kirk Cousins a lot, and I hope he can.
Man, you like that?
I like
Kirk Cousins.
I like his fight,
man. But if
you know why I like him, because he franchise tagged twice and just got paid crazy money, man.
Guaranteed contract after guarantee. I'm like, bro, I don't understand. But guess what? Guess what the Eagles did with that guaranteed contract? Beat them 38-7 in the playoff game en route to a Super Bowl. I don't want to hear it no more. Exactly. Fly, Eagles, fly.
All right, let's get into the fun one now. Let's go Detroit, man. I've been wanting to talk about that. Detroit is basically just blown up the entire franchise. And they said, "Screw it, we're gonna go get some dogs, man."
But before you even say what you say, in my notes that I wrote down, as far as like additions and stuff, I just put brand new team.
Exactly,
brand new team.
This is a good comparison. The way that I'm gonna compare this team right now, the Lions are like the Rays of baseball when you look at it on paper right now. I
don't know.
Yeah, let me spit it quick. So. The head coach, it has nothing to do. Like, this guy is just fucking way off the reservation, man. He says some questionable things, like he wants to see blood drawn if his players get into a fight, like he's expecting that. The way he orders his coffee is very strange.
You want a team that should have been on Hard Knocks? There you freaking go.
Y'all fucked up.
There you go.
He was basically saying, come sign us for Hard Knocks. It should have been them.
There you go.
They traded to get Jared Goff. Obviously, they traded Stafford picks for Goff. Jamal Williams, Brashad Perriman, Tyrell Williams, tight end Darren Fells, and tight end Josh Hill. They re-signed Romeo Okwara, who's apparently one of their better players. They traded to get Michael Brockers, which is a big get in my opinion right there. They got linebacker Alex Anzalone from the Saints, cornerback Quentin Dunbar, cornerback Nickel Roby Coleman, and they got kicker Randy Bullock, who should have a job every year because the guy just, whenever he fills in, does great. Key departures, they obviously traded Stafford for Jared Goff. They lost Kerryon Johnson, Adrian Peterson, Danny Amendola, Kenny Golladay said, I'm done with this shit. Marvin Jones said, I'm done with this shit. Wide receiver Mohamed Sanu, I didn't even know he was there, but he was. Tight end, barely. Tight end Jesse James is gone. Defensive end Everson Griffin is gone. Defensive tackle Danny Shelton is gone. Linebacker Gerard Davis is with the Jets. Yay. Cornerback Darrell Roberts. Cornerback Desmond Trufant. Safety Miles Killebrew, and kicker Matt Prater, who should have a job. I don't know why not. And their offense or their draft picks, which, Penei Sewell, congratulations. That's probably like the best fall in a draft for them.
That's the one.
Yeah. Defensive tackle, this guy's really, really good too. They got him in the first round too, I believe as well, or maybe it was early second. Levi, don't know how to say his Nigerian last name.
Okay, give me a second.
Go.
I'm like, Uruzinke.
Yeah, whatever. He played with Micah Parsons at Penn State. They were monsters.
Uzurike.
And then the other guy that stands out to me is the kid they got from USC, wide receiver Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yep.
So this is why I say they're like the Rays. They went and got players that are basically defects or not going to get the playing time that they deserve, and they're going to get the playing time here. Like Jamal Williams, he's going to get some playing time with Swift. He's a good player. Okay, Jared Goff, they gave up on him, and it was clear as day they gave up on him. He might have went to the Super Bowl, but they gave up on him. Perriman and Tyrell Williams, like Tyrell Williams is given every opportunity to be a 1 or a 2, and he can't cut it. Yeah. Perriman was a first-round pick. He couldn't cut it with 3 organizations until he showed up with the Bucs in like the last 3 games, and then the Jets gave him the option, and he couldn't even do it there. Darren Fells, there's been hype so much around him playing in the Texans. Nothing. Josh Hill, there was hype about him when who was the tight end that was there that left the Graham? He was supposed to be the next best thing. Nothing there. Mm-hmm. And then everybody else, Anzalone, Quentin Dunbar, all these guys are just like misfits. So you're going to go play for an organization that's basically gutted the entire team. We talked about all the departures. Basically, the entire team is gone, and you're going to go out there with fresh players, and it's Detroit. You've got nothing to prove. You're not going to win 5 games. So go out there and have fun. Fucking be the fucking, what's the movie with Adam Sandler that they redid? The Mean Machine.
Longest Yard.
Those guys out there, man.
Longest Yard.
They're gonna be the most hungry, hard hitting. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if this guy puts like knives in their fingertips and lets them stab other people. Like he's a crazy guy. I thought Dan Campbell I was vouching for this guy, but when I'm hearing him speak, like I'm taken back. Like I'm not trying to catch a charge playing for this guy, man. Talk, man, because it's an interesting looking team. It's on paper, they made a lot of good. In my opinion, they took a gamble on what they're doing, and I think it could pay off for them just for a few more wins. But it's not the long-term deal. But it's the foundations to possibly make players better, get more trade out of them, and maybe retain some that could be worth a shit. So
listen, man, Detroit. So, like I mentioned earlier, I was born in London, but I moved to Detroit after that. So, Detroit's in my blood. There's a reason why I'm not a fan of the Detroit Lions, though. There's a very good reason why I'm not a fan of the Detroit Lions, because they waste people's talent. But man, you know what? I'm not brand new offense, brand new coach, brand new players, brand new team, brand new everything. It's weird, man. Everything about this is funny. It's weird. It's like they're like an expansion team. It's like
basically
who knows what the hell you're gonna get from this team, right? But they got Penei Sewell. Like Penei Sewell is one of those dudes where he literally can change your franchise. And see, if you're not a football fan, like a real football fan, and really understand the nuance of football, people don't understand the sexy pick of getting an offensive lineman. They understand quarterback, they get it. Wide receiver, they get it. Running back, they get it. Defensive end, they get it. But they don't realize the importance of having a solid tackle and a solid offensive line and stuff like that. Penei Sewell is going to help Jared Goff a lot, okay? And Ragnow, I like Ragnow a lot. So, and they got Vaitai, they got Decker. So I think the offensive line is actually going to be pretty good. Now the quarterback, Jared Goff. Call it what you want, man. He went to the Super Bowl, okay? I know we poo-poo on Garoppolo. He got to the Super Bowl. We poo-poo on Jared Goff. He got to the damn Super Bowl, man. He got there. He sucked when he got there. But we can't. We don't forget in that same season. Remember that shootout with Kansas City when it was like 75 to like 73, looked like a 1997 NBA playoff game when it was like a high scoring Monday Night Football game. Jared Goff was the head of that offense, so he may not be what Sean McVay wanted. He might not be the most polished quarterback ever, but he's not
pick too,
huh?
He's a first overall pick too.
Exactly. And I was going to get to that. Before I'm going to just quick transition. Look at the last 5 years of number 1 and number 2 overall picks. Carson Wentz, not on the same team. Jared Goff, not on the same team. Mariota, not on the same team. Andrew Luck, not even in the NFL anymore. Jameis Winston. Bruh, it's like we go Mitchell Trubisky, when you mentioned it earlier. It's crazy. Like, it's never a sure thing when you draft a quarterback in the top 3 overall, just so you guys know. But I digress because I'm starting to look at this trend and nobody is think of all the best quarterbacks lately. Russell Wilson, 4th round pick. Dak Prescott, 4th round pick. Tom Brady, 6th round pick. Aaron Rodgers, number 20. Like, don't get crazy about the quarterbacks that are drafted in the top 5. That's all I'm going to say. But besides the point, Jared Goff is still a formidable quarterback, okay? Would I rather have him than Carson Wentz? Yeah, I would. I'd much rather have Jared Goff at this point than Carson Wentz. He stays healthy, relatively healthy. I think he has a chip on his shoulder now after getting traded. So I think he's gonna give it his all. And again, it's a brand new team, so he has nothing to prove. It's Detroit. He has absolutely no pressure whatsoever anymore. He is not Sean McVay anymore, who demands excellence. It's this weird dude, Dan Campbell, who will bleed for his team. So this whole experiment is going to be funny, but I actually like the makeup of his team to an extent. Michael Brockers, I like him. DeAndre Swift, I like him. Jamal Williams, we were talking about him earlier. Yeah, he's a weird dude. He doesn't watch cable. He said all he watches is anime, and I can respect that, but that's crazy from an NFL player to say. All he watches is anime, and he wears USPA and not polo, stuff like that. I'm cool with that, man. He humble. Tyrell Williams, I like Tyrell Williams, man. He's not a number 1, but he can be a good number 2. Brashad Perriman, I'm not crazy about him, but I mean, overall, man, it's not like it's Jeff Okuda, right? He was great in college, and he had a bad rookie year, but I think, he gets somebody as fiery as Dan Campbell as a coach, you're going to tighten up. So I think they're good there. Darren Fells, solid tight end. Dunbar is a solid cornerback. Khalif Raymond from Tennessee is a fast receiver. There's stuff there to be excited about. And I looked at the Carolina Panthers last year, and they went 5-11 with Matt Rule. And there's no reason why Detroit can't have a similar season with a brand new operation going on there. And I think they might surprise some people. I think they may surprise some people.
Jamal Williams is the son Dan Campbell never had, I feel
Exactly. Bro,
perfect.
they're perfect. They are perfect. Those two are perfect for each other. Now, Jamal Williams in the streets of Detroit, no, he needs to stay in Livonia, in the suburbs, like in Grand Rapids and stuff. He can't be in Detroit like that, but everywhere else he'd be fine in.
All right, predicted
Southfield,
record.
something like that.
Predicted record. I'm gonna give them. They could win 5 games, but I'm gonna put them at 3-14. That's what I'm gonna put them at.
Bro, I got him at 6-11, but I can actually, and I got him at 6 wins. I got him at 6 wins. They're like, they're not a dark horse to do anything, but they're a dark horse to be in it. Bro, think about it. Carolina won 5 games last year, and they were not good. Carolina's team was not good at all, and they won 5. And I like Jared Goff a little bit more than I like Teddy Bridgewater. McCaffrey wasn't playing last year, and they got Swift and Jamal Williams here. The receivers in Carolina were not that great last year, and they got pretty decent receivers here. I like the St. Brown draft pick, and they got Penei Sewell, bro. Like, damn, he gonna keep Jared Goff upright, man. 6-11 is not far-fetched. Shit, 7-10, nah, I don't know, but I'm gonna go 6-11, maybe 7, but I'll give him 6-11.
High for the Lions there. Okay.
Let's go, Detroit. Detroit.
Let's break down the NFC North now.
Oh, we in the NFC.
We want to start. Let's go Ravens first.
All right, let's go.
So
big stories there.
Yeah.
Also, before you even get to the Ravens, I did want to get back to the Vikings really, really quickly, because I want to talk about Kirk Cousins really quickly. The whole the vaccine thing and everything like that. That could be, that may end up being a bigger issue than it should be for that team. So, like, let's say he does test positive, like, he fucks up everything, right? And they got to go with Kellen Mond. Just really quickly, if they have to go with Kellen Mond, forget everything that I said, because he's not ready. He's not ready, okay?
Exactly.
And then I don't know how the locker room's going to feel about everything with Kirk Cousins. So that just to go back, because we're about to get to the Ravens, because similar things happening there. But yeah, that could mess up a little bit of chemistry in the locker room. But I just want to make sure I did mention that at least mention that.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins is definitely registered as a Republican. Definitely know that.
I don't give a damn what he's registered as. Don't jeopardize your football team. That's all I gotta say.
So the Ravens, just like you said with the COVID thing, Lamar Jackson, players were testing positive. He's been activated now, so he'll be able to play and practice with the team. Let's run down the line with them. So key additions: they re-signed Gus Edwards, who had a pretty good under the radar season last year.
Solid.
Wide receiver Sammy Watkins is going to try it here now. Offensive tackle, they got Juwan James. They went and got a big one in Alejandro Villanueva. They re-signed Pernell McPhee. They re-signed Justin Ellis, and they re-signed all those 3 big defensive linemen, Derek Wolfe. And then they went on and just said, you know what? We always lose linebackers, and we don't have really that much faith in the guys. We'll just go get Justin Houston. Just say screw it. So they get Justin Houston. Now, key departures, Robert Griffin is finally calling it a career, and he's going to be on TV calling college games.
In the booth.
Thank you, Robert, for doing us this favor finally. Mark Ingram is no longer there. And I don't like seeing him not there, but he's in a shitty situation. Des Bryant is gone. Chris Moore is gone. Willie Snead is gone. Offensive tackle Orlando Brown is gone. Offensive guard DJ Fluker is gone. Center Matt Skura is gone. Ngakwe is now gone. Defensive end Jihad Ward is gone. And Matt Judon said, I'm just going to go win with the real team. They draft Rashad Bateman. They get defensive end Odefi Owa. Guard Ben Cleveland. Cornerback Brandon Stevens. And cornerback Sean Wade. So I think there, and just looking at this, I think on the offense, as far as weapons, you went out and got younger. You got more guys that gel with your quarterback and the guys that are there already. you got a veteran and Super Bowl winner in Sammy Watkins who'll probably play 3 games for you and then go out with a blown knee or pinky toe, who knows. But you didn't get him any offensive line help from what I see. You got Ben Cleveland in the 3rd round, and hopefully that pans out. But oh no, I take that back. You got Alejandro Villanueva and Juwan James. My bad. Yeah, you helped him out there.
And Ronnie Staley's coming back.
And
Staley he was hurt last year.
Yeah. But the bromance between Mark Ingram and Lamar Jackson is gone, and the defense is still good. I think you got more guys to back up the secondary and possibly some guys in the safety slot. But I like the overall look of it all. I thought the O-line was bad, but then I just forgot I've said Alejandro Villanueva and Juwan James, so I think it looks pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I think their O-line is still kind of suspect. I mean, they had Orlando Brown Jr. I mean, he's a damn good offensive lineman. Villanueva is 32 years old, so I wouldn't be too. I mean, I like the fact that he's used to playing in this division, playing in the AFC North.
That's what
I do like that a lot, but he is still, he's getting up there in age. He didn't really. I mean, the Pittsburgh Steelers offensive line last year wasn't that great, and he was anchoring that line. We'll get to their team as well, but to me, he's a good pickup, but I would much rather have them still. They traded Orlando Brown Jr. to a rival in Kansas City. Like they're probably gonna have to see in the play. Like that to me wasn't the wisest thing in the world. And then they replaced him with Villanueva. Ronnie Staley coming back is gonna help. You mentioned Juwan James. So, the offensive line might be a little suspect for a running team, especially. I mean, they're running the football. Weapons wise, we know Sammy Watkins is not playing 17 games next year. He can never even play 16. They're adding an extra game.
Yeah.
He playing maybe 7-8 games next year. Let's keep it a buck. Rashad Bateman already has a soft tissue injury, who they're relying heavily on. They didn't go after Julio Jones because they got Rashad Bateman. So Rashad Bateman is going to be they're supposed to be their guy. He hurt. He's going to be missed a few weeks. Hollywood Brown's hurt. He has nagging injuries. Lamar Jackson hasn't really practiced as much, so he has no rapport with nobody. All his receivers are, and the only rapport he's going to have is with his tight ends. Mark Andrews lost some weight, so he's looking to be better for them next year. Yes, they lost Mark Ingram, but J.K. Dobbins is more than capable of being that guy for him.
Gus was good too.
Yeah. So there's positives, but to me, from this offseason, there's been a lot more negatives in Baltimore. Losing Orlando Brown Jr., Lamar having COVID and then missing this time, and the receivers are hurt, and we know who's going to get hurt. To me, there's a lot more question marks in Baltimore than there should be for a team that should be contending for a title. I think we're so quick to kind of just give them that crown because of the success that they had lately. But I'm not going to be too quick to do that. Obviously I love the secondary. I think Marlon Humphrey is a dog. Jimmy Smith is good. So they Marcus Peters, I don't know what his situation is. Is he on the team anymore? Marcus Peters? I think he is, right? Yeah, I think so. I'm not even sure what's going on with him, but there's a lot. Oh yeah, he's still there because he was the reason why Justin Houston got there. Okay, I like the Justin Houston pickup, but how old is Justin Houston? So
he produced last year in the Colts, so
which I fully understand, but at the end of the day, he is still what is he 32 as well? Been away with 32, he's 32. So they're in win now mode, and their best young talent is hurt, and the rest of the guys are old. So it's just a lot. It's a lot. It's not terrible, but I'm a little concerned. I am a little concerned about the Ravens. Not gonna lie. So I'll let what you think the record gonna look like.
I'm a little concerned too, looking at hearing you say it, because I look at all these guys like Orlando Brown they let go,
Bro, I mean, think about the names you mentioned. Mark Ingram was a big part of the locker room.
Yeah. And then,
Defense,
but even at that,
Luca,
look at the defense. I know they got like
Ngakwe.
Ngakwe is gone, Matt Judon's gone.
Yeah.
There's a lot of big pieces gone, but I think they went and got some solid guys there too. They kept the line for the most part. Ngakwe was only like a rental. They should have re-signed him, but they didn't.
Yeah.
Now he's with Chucky. But I think the defense will definitely have to. We always say that Lamar Jackson always plays from behind a lot, so he's.
Does he? Because he doesn't do no. They're great front runners because they run the ball. They control the clock. When they fall behind, think about the playoff game against the Bills. Once they were behind, it was pretty much over.
Yeah,
then the center snapping the ball over his head, and it got ugly quickly. Well, not ugly, but it didn't look that pretty anymore.
I feel like this year though they're gonna have to rely more on the defense, and I don't think they really lost much looking at it. Ngakwe is big, but he was only a rental. He was only there a very short window.
Yeah,
Judon is the biggest one, but you got Justin Houston, and I like that putting it there. But you kept Justin Ellis, you kept Derek Wolfe, you kept Pernell McPhee. Those guys have been there for a while.
Your secondary still be good,
and your secondary is still good. We say this every year about them, about linebackers. Somebody just pops up out of nowhere and takes the cake and runs with it. So someone's going to be developed into something. And then they got that guy I told you, Owe, that they got in the draft. So
Owe was good in college.
So I like them winning the division over the Browns by one game. I'm gonna put them at 13-4.
I have them with all the concerns. My over under was 10.5 actually. So they're going to be 10-7 or 11-6. Man, hopefully they can get this receiving core back intact in the next month, so they're at least starting week 1 with a full slate of receivers and they can get some rapport. I don't know what the extent of this Bateman injury is, and then Sammy Watkins, never know with him. And then Jimmy, and then Lamar, man, he needs to have rapport with these guys. Hollywood Brown is hurt. This is too many injuries. I'm a little concerned. So I want to say 11-6. I really do. But
I think the margin for Harbaugh is very small, so he'll whip these guys into shape to get them ready for shit.
Oh man. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna just say 10 or 11 wins. I don't want to commit to 10-7 or 11-6 just yet. I want to kind of get a little bit more information on these injuries because, for example, they said, remember we were talking about Carson Wentz and they said he was missing 5 to 12 weeks. Well, all of a sudden
he's out week.
All of a sudden he's available. He might be available week 1. Yeah. So it's like I want to see what a number of weeks really means for Rashad Bateman, being that it was a soft tissue injury. I want to see if what Hollywood Brown's going to look like. I want to make sure he's healthy as well because I'm a little concerned about that too. And I want to see what kind of training regimen that Sammy Watkins needs. Because if they're all healthy, if the Ravens are healthy, there's no reason why they can't go 13-4, honestly. But I am a little concerned. I'm gonna go 11-6. I'm gonna go 11-6. To me, I feel like they might just be they might be over-diagnosing. We'll see, but I'll go 11-6.
All right, let's go Browns now. So
that's the team right there.
This team has had a great offseason, man. Like these guys, and a great draft as well. Like they did it. They took the cake. Had a really good draft. So key additions, they re-signed Rashard Higgins, who's a good 3-4 guy for them. They went and got the defense. It's a gamble, but you get it for cheap 1 year. And he was a first-round pick 3 years ago, Takaris McKinley. You went and got the first overall pick a couple years back in Jadeveon Clowney, who's going to be in a great defense where they're not heavily relying on him to do everything. You re-signed Super Bowl MVP with the Seahawks, Malcolm Smith. And then you pried 2 DBs away from the Rams and Troy Hill and John Johnson. So your key departures, though, you kick defensive ends Adrian Claiborne and Olivier I'm always hurt Vernon away. I don't see any problems there. Sheldon Richardson, you replaced him with a gamble on Jadeveon Clowney. So not mad with it. I like it. They got rid of Kevin Johnson. They got rid of Terrence Campbell, cornerbacks. Safety Carl Joseph. He's got to be like 62 now. And then Andrew Sendejo, whatever the hell his name is.
Yeah.
White boys in the secondary just don't cut it for me, man. So he gone. You went and got Greg Newsome III, who everybody thought the the Packers would get, but they didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got another sneaky second round pick for a guy who should have been in the first round. And I know you like to say his name, so you want the mic to say his name?
Jeremiah Owusu Karamoa.
All right.
Jokes.
So you get
the Joker, the big Joker.
You get this guy, and then you got another wide receiver in Anthony
Schwartz, the fastest dude in this draft.
Mm-hmm. So now these guys took the cake and won the draft, man. I commend them, man. Cleveland is doing it right, and people in Cleveland should be happy. And if my only thing, I'll keep it short with Cleveland. I don't like Cleveland. I can never stand Cleveland. I don't like Baker Mayfield.
Mm-hmm.
And I absolutely hate Odell Beckham Jr. And I think he's the X factor of this whole thing. Because I think Baker's on page with everybody on the offense. Baker's got it down pat with everybody, but he doesn't have it with OBJ because of injuries. And we just don't know what type of OBJ we're going to get. Are we going to get like Hollywood OBJ, where I'm all about being flashy and, being emotional and kicking a football into a net and it hits me in the face again? Or we're going to get OBJ that finally wants to be an adult and go out and play a sport that he's paid millions and millions and people envy him for that, to go on and do what you're there to do, win a championship. That's what you want to do when you were playing Pee Wee. So what OBJ? He's the X factor for me. So go, your turn.
Man, listen, I'm gonna keep it short and simple. The Cleveland Browns, to me, have the best top to bottom roster in the National Football League. Okay,
better than the Bucks.
The reason why, no, not better than the Bucks. The only reason why I won't put them better than the Bucks as far as roster construction is the quarterback. Baker Mayfield is not terrible, but he obviously has limitations. He's not he's not the sexiest pick to have as your starting quarterback when you make it to the Super Bowl. I mean, keep in mind, in that playoff game against Kansas City, they were playing against Chad Henne. No. Who's the backup for Kansas City?
Chad Henne.
It was Chad Henne, right? They were playing against Chad Henne for the majority of that game, right? Like what? Second half at least. They should have, and Baker had the ball in the fourth quarter. They should have won that game. Plain and simple, they should have beat Kansas City in the playoffs, right? Especially with Kansas City's injuries and everything that they were dealing with. That should have been Cleveland's game to win. But Baker is not all the way there yet. But who cares? Nick Chubb is a dog. Kareem Hunt is a dog. They have the best offensive line in football. Odell Beckham Jr., call it what you want, coming off an injury, I know. But even if he's your number 2, he's going to be the best number 2 in the league. If he's your number 1, he's still a top 10 receiver, okay? Jarvis Landry, dog. Anthony Schwartz is a beast, man. That dude is so fast, and he's gonna all the running and shit that they do. All it's gonna do is open it up for the easy Anthony Schwartz bomb play action pass, including OBJ, including Jarvis Landry, and they got Njoku, and they got, I think they still got Austin Hooper if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Austin Hooper. And they got Donovan Peoples, who's quick as shit.
Go blue. I mean,
And they just got Rashard Higgins back too.
And they got Rashard, bro. This team, man.
And the running backs. They got Kareem Hunt.
And Nick Chubb. Listen, man, with the great offensive line, offensively, the only hole, if you want to call it a hole, is what you think of Baker Mayfield. But guess what, man? I've seen Trent Dilfer win a Super Bowl. I've seen Joe Flacco win a Super Bowl. I've seen Eli Manning win 2 Super Bowls. So if that's your worst player is Baker, you're fine. Defensively, I mean, God, Myles Garrett, Jadeveon Clowney. I love the Owusu Komaru pickup. Greg Newsome is going to be good for him. McKinley, Denzel Ward. I mean, damn. I mean, they have it. Malik Jackson, they have it all over the field, man. I don't see nothing wrong with this football team.
All right.
I mean, again, if you want to give him anything, is the quarterback. Other than that, and the quarterback's not terrible. The quarterback is at best above average. I mean, at worst average, but he's a little bit above average. Like, he's not the worst quarterback. Top 15 quarterback, I'm fine with that. Some people say top 10. I'm cool with that. Like, Baker's proved it in college, walk on, didn't get the starting job, He ended up being a number 1 overall pick.
Yeah.
And he seems more mature than when he came into the league with. His commercials have cut down significantly. He's not on every Progressive and Geico and Allstate commercial. I like this. I think this might be the year that we finally see Cleveland break the freak, like they break through for real. All right. I think so.
My prediction, putting him at 12-5.
So I have him as a potential for 12-5 as well, actually. But as much as highly I'm talking about, I gotta give him 13 wins.
Okay.
I have to. I got him as 12-5 on my paper, but I gotta give him 13 wins.
Okay. Let's go to Steelers, man. Who started an undefeated season and then crumbled at the very end.
And kept crumbling until the very end.
So, and then, you got Big Ben back. How much longer are you going to run with this? But, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You're still in the playoffs, I guess. So, so your key additions, you bring in Kalen Ballage, who turned it up last year. He's a good 2-3 running back, I guess, there. You re-signed Juju Smith-Schuster for basically pennies. If he wants to stay there and TikTok and dance. And I love Juju, so I'm okay with that.
Nice guy.
It's commending on his end. You don't see a lot of players do that, but he really loves it there and he really wants to stay. So you re-signed offensive tackle Zach Banner. They went and got offensive guard Try Turner. They re-signed Tyson Alalu, who's been there forever. Melvin Ingram was on vacation and they called him up and brought him in. I really like that signing.
Love that pickup.
And they signed safety Miles Killebrew. Only reason I like that is because his granddaddy was a baseball player, so that's why I throw him in there.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Key departures. You lost James Conner, which I feel like he was expendable. They weren't using him at all. Vance McDonald said, "Yo, I trucked the shit out of that white boy on Monday Night Football on the Bucks."
You remember that?
This
is where they have Fitzmagic still. Oh my God, what a day! I remember. I have a video on my phone of that play.
Truck that boy, and they loved him too. He never played another down for the Bucks after that. He called it quits. Alejandro Villanueva, we said jump ship and went to Baltimore. David DeCastro, a very, very strange cut. He's nowhere to be seen yet. Marquise Pouncey called it quits. Vance Williams called it quits and retired as well. Mm-hmm. Here's another one I don't understand, who's a really good linebacker that we gave you for nothing, is linebacker Avery Williamson. He should be getting a call back to come back and play there. Cornerback Mike Hilton is gone. Cornerback Steve Nelson is gone. Now, draft picks. Got my boy, man, Najee Harris. Now you've got your clear-cut running back. I really like that. They got tight end Pat, whatever your Freemuth, yeah. Got him, and they got guard Kendrick Green. So you got a guy, you went in, re-signed one offensive lineman. You got Try Turner, who's been a pretty solid guard. And then you got a project in Kendrick Green in the 3rd round. I think your running game got better with Harris and Ballage, but I think Ballage is a power runner too. But Harris, I think, can catch.
They got Benny Snell Jr. still.
Huh?
They got Benny Snell Jr. still.
Oh, yeah, they got Benny Snell Jr. Like, he's good when he wants to be, so hopefully he can be good when they need him to be. I think Alalu looks good back there on the D-line. Melvin Ingram is definitely a good defensive end to have up there. The only thing with me is their linebackers. Vance Williams, of course, he retired. He's old. But Avery Williamson should be getting a call back to stay there. That's a good guy to have in the middle. And
got Devin Bush.
Devin Bush is another good one too.
TJ Watt off the edge.
Oh yeah, forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah, they got Melvin Ingram. Their linebacking core is fine.
They're fine. Yeah,
They're great actually. Their linebacking core is great actually.
and the secondary is great too.
Yeah.
Back there with those guys. So I feel like on paper the defense is okay, and I think you got to tip your hat to Juju to stay, man. Like he could have went and got big money somewhere, but he give me a 1-year deal and I'll ride my bike to work type shit. And Najee Harris just makes your offense a lot more better in the run game. So I like everything that they did. The only X factor to me is how long is Big Ben going to be able to stand up for, man? Because this guy is like old as dirt. That's my X factors. It's just Big Ben and maybe some pieces in the O line. But other than that, you got him a tight end who's young now, who should be able to start and progress in this offense and definitely give him that help that older quarterbacks need with the tight end. So I like the lay of the land for the Pittsburgh Steelers right now.
Listen, man, Pittsburgh only has one problem to me. Well, 1.5. The offensive line. I've been listening to like different shows and reading stuff about the Steelers. The offensive line is a question mark for them, and they've made that clear that they gotta make sure the offensive line is going to be up to date. I mean up to par. Right now, again, PFF, Pro Football Focus, they have them ranked the 31st offensive line in the NFL. 31st, 31. And they lost Villanueva, who wasn't really. They lost Pouncey, obviously. They lost Villanueva. So there's some question marks there. Okay, Najee's a dog. We all know that. Their receiving core, dog. They're all dogs, but they gotta mature. They gotta mature and become more consistent. Because Claypool needs to.
Right, baby.
Claypool's route tree needs to get better. Juju Smith-Schuster needs to just become a man. Like stop being a boy. It's a good football team. Their defense is going to be stellar. The linebacking core is stellar. The defensive line is stellar. The corners, the safeties, they're a good team. My only concern is the offensive line, which will direct, but they got guys like Chaz Green, stuff like that. Like they drafted well, they addressed some of those situations, but will Ben Roethlisberger be able to stay upright? We'll see. And then what version of the Steelers are we going to get? Are we going to get the team that started off, what were they, 11-0, 12-0 last year?
Yeah.
Or the team that could not buy a win after that. Like, we don't know which Steelers team we're going to get. We all watched that Browns game and that playoff game. They got destroyed. And the Browns have gotten better since then. So the Browns are already better than them. The Baltimore Ravens are, to me, a question mark as well. So I have the Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens. You know how they've been deadlocked as a rivalry their whole career, like their whole livelihood as a franchise, as two franchises. I have them literally at the same exact level of concern, but they should be able to overcome that concern because of their history. Mike Tomlin never has losing seasons. Baltimore just has a great track record of just figuring it out. So to me, the Steelers they'll figure it out. Their roster is fine. Their offensive line is a question mark. And then we got to see if Najee Harris is about that life in the NFL. He's ready for that grind. Because they know after watching him last year, Mike Tomlin knows, we're gonna have to feed. Because we watched the Hall of Fame game. They're trying to get him involved, obviously in limited appearances. Yeah. But we're gonna see when they play Philly. What kind of packages they have for him. But if he doesn't have an offensive line to run behind, then how effective can Najee be? But they know Najee got to be heavily involved for the receivers to have time to get open and Ben to have time to be in the pocket. Because if Ben gets hurt, you're stuck with Dwayne Haskins or Josh Dobbs. I don't know how comfortable you feel with that, but we're gonna see.
And Haskins is a head case too, so
yeah, we're gonna see.
Yeah, I'm a big Najee Harris man. So I put him record-wise, I put him 10-7.
Yeah, I have him as 10-7, and I feel like I'm being disrespectful giving them 10-7.
I do too. I feel
like they're better. They should be better than 10-7.
They could win 13 games.
But I look at the schedule, man.
Yeah.
The schedule is the schedule, man. I can only go off of what I see. I mean, looking at the schedule, let me give them 11. Let me give them. They're gonna lose to the Chiefs. They're gonna split with the Ravens. They're gonna
run it down. Just give me.
I'm gonna give them 11. I'm gonna give them 11.
All right.
I'm gonna give them 11-6.
Let's go to the last team in the AFC North. Team that's trying to make strides but striking out doing it, in my opinion. So they're getting younger. They're getting pieces for Joe Burrow that he knows and has rapport with. They went out and claimed Thaddeus Moss off of waivers, wherever the hell he was.
He ain't making a team.
Yeah, but whatever. It's a good guy in camp to boost his ego, whatever.
Unless you guy.
you gamble, and I thought this was a dumb pick, but and if anyone was going to bite, it was going to be the Bengals. You go get defensive end Trey Hendrickson, who had one good year. Let's see if he does it again. You got D-line Mike Daniels, who used to play for the Packers. You got the head case in Eli Apple. You got cornerback Owuzie, who everyone was high on in Dallas, and he said, I'm out.
Owuzie is good. I like him.
They got cornerback Mike Hilton from the Steelers, and they got cornerback Ricardo Allen from the Falcons, who's just a dog. I loved him when he was with the Jets. Key departures. Giovanni Bernard has finally said, I'm going to go win. Y'all hold my beer here. I'm going to Tampa. AJ Green, everyone's favorite Bengal, longest tenured Bengal, is now gone. John Ross is gone, finally. Carl Lawson, the Jets love this guy. I love him too. I just want to know why I love him. Geno Atkins, another long tenured Bengal, not given a contract. Mackenzie Alexander said, I'm going to go back to where I first started it. William Jackson is gone. And Randy Bullock has got a job, thank God. Draft picks. You went in, you didn't get Sewell, but you got Jamar Chase, who Burrow was throwing to. So see what happens there. You did get Jackson Carman at guard, which is a good get. They got Joseph Osai, and then they got defensive end Cameron Sample. So did they lose a lot of older players? Yes. Did they give up on John Ross? I think John Ross gave up on John Ross. Did they get a lot younger? Yeah. Are they going to be in contentions with the other three teams? Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. I mean, just to keep it short and simple, nah.
I think I like some of these additions. Like if Thaddeus Moss does make the team, it's good because then he has Jamar Chase and Thaddeus Moss, and he has good rapport with those guys, but can they translate to the NFL? The other wide receiving core is very, very young, very, very fast. Anybody can shine there kind of in a way. The tight end is that weird dude with the weird haircut, or I can't think of his name. He has a long
Cijo Zoma.
Yeah, he's weird as fuck. When he needs to play, he plays well. The running back game is on lock. Homeboy's pretty solid running back. And then the defense is whatever now. We don't know what the lay of the land is with the defense. It's like, what can we get out of that? They're years away from being like the Bengals of old when they were semi-decent. So
the Bengals with Carson Palmer in them.
Yeah.
Or the Bengals that made the Super Bowl like 30 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, just in general, like just for them to be relevant, they're very far away. But I think getting young and taking a gamble on some of these guys it's a ballsy move. I don't like the Jamar Chase pick, but I also do like it at the same time.
Because it's Jamar Chase.
Yeah, because you to me, what I see there is like them listening to their quarterback, and you're keeping him happy. You don't want to run it. You're the Bengals, and you're like next to the Browns. They're the laughing stock of the NFL, and then the Jets and the Lions are right there. So you're listening to him and what he wants, and I'm pretty sure he said, "Give me Jamar Chase."
I'm pretty sure they should have drafted Penei Sewell, but
I'm 100% agree with you there.
You got a quarterback, and I love Joe Burrow. Love the guy. I think he's going to be an excellent quarterback in his league. No problem, right? But coming off of a damn ACL tear, protect me. That's all I ask. Protect me as best as you can. Protect me. they got a great receiving room. T. Higgins, Jamar Chase. They got good. I mean, Joe Mixon's an excellent running back when he wants to be. Yeah. So offensively, they'll be fine with weapons, but they got to protect my boy Joe, and stop trying to get too cute. They need to get more physical on defense. They got some good corner. I like the Awuzie pickup. I think Awuzie is going to help them a lot. Eli Apple can either be good or a waste of time. Mike Hilton was a good pickup. Ricardo out. So they did a good job adjusting the secondary. We're gonna see how that front gonna look, man. The front has to be better and put more pressure on the quarterback. Because they don't got really too many people. I mean, DJ Reader's nice, but they don't really have too many people that's gonna scare the hell out of opposing offensive line and quarterback. But again, they have great receivers. They have a good running game, great quarterback. Good corners, but I'm not. Every division is gonna have a team that's not great or horrible. I don't think they're horrible, but they're not going to strike no fear. They'll win some games, obviously, but they're not striking no fear. Like they'll be a formidable football team. But I mean, Trey Waynes. He was solid, and they got good corners. They got decent corners, not great corners, but they got formidable corners, very good receiving core. Good running back and Joe, great quarterback, but they ain't striking fear in nobody.
I'm putting them at 6-11.
I have them as 5-12.
I like that better.
5-12. So recap: we both got the Packers winning the NFC North.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Baltimore winning the AFC North by a game that you say by a game.
I would say the Ravens, yeah.
Man, you better watch out for them Browns, boy. They finally Peyton Hillis, man. Peyton Hillis is excited for this moment.
All right, let's do our fun segment now. So
let's go, Browns.
Let's wrap up because we're talking a lot today. These are going to be very lengthy episodes breaking down these divisions. So our fun segment in light of Dennis Schroeder fumbling the bag when he should have took the $80 million, but decided to settle for a 1 year, 5.
Let's break it down. Let's break it down. So the Los Angeles Lakers offered him initially a contract, I think it was like 70-something million, right? And they said no. So they came back in the middle of the season, around free agency time, like in the middle, around the trading deadline. And they said, we're gonna offer you 4 years, $84 million. And this dumbass agent and Dennis Schroeder's skateboard and Twitch playing ass said, nah, we going for that bag. Now look at him.
Yeah.
Now look at him.
This is dedicated to all players. And we did a little bit of homework on this to players who have fumbled the bag that could have got paid, but chose to take another route and kind of got screwed. So I'm going to give you 3. The first one I'm going to put down is Sean Gilbert, offensive lineman extraordinaire. He held out in Washington. This is like 97, 98. He held out in Washington because they were going to franchise tag him. And he said, nah, I don't want to be the franchise tag. I just want to get paid. So he took the season off. They traded him to the Panthers. He signed like a deal for 46.5 and did nothing after that. So last laugh is on him. Washington won that standoff right there. The next one I got is Cam Chancellor, man. That's a guy I feel real bad for. Looked to get paid. Legion of Boom all got paid. They took care of contracts for Richard Sherman. They took care of contracts for, what's the other guy? Earl Thomas. And he took a lesser deal, and they said, we'll work on your deal during the season. So the guys got paid. He didn't get paid. He held out start of the season, and then finally they couldn't get a deal done, and he returned with just basically nothing, and that was the end of Cam Chancellor era in Seattle. And the last one I have is Mr. I have so many litigations, problems against me, Albert Haynesworth. Albert Haynesworth had a great season with the Titans. Washington saw it, picked him up. He had all these off-field problems. He punched an officer in the face. He had like 1 million speeding tickets and like run-ins with the law, fights on and off. He stepped on a player's chest during a game with the spikes on. and they gave him the bag. I forgot what it was, like $100 million deal for like 6 years.
Something like that. Yeah, I remember.
And they basically took it all away from him. And then the Patriots picked him up for peanuts, and you know how the Patriots do.
Low ball, all the way low ball.
Exactly.
Until this year.
and he just never got right to the player that he was. And I blame it more on him, on his off-field issues and his like consistency of playing the game of football. And another win for Washington right there. So
yeah, I mean, listen, Dennis Schroeder fumbled the hell out of that bag. He went from who knows what's gonna happen, but he signed a 1-year deal for what, $5.9 million.
Yeah.
And he's gonna test it again next year. He's not gonna make anything next year either, because he's not gonna start this year, and he's not gonna do enough to help Boston to get another bag. So he's fumbled bags, like generational wealth for his kids and stuff. He fumbled the fuck. Excuse my French. He fumbled the hell out of the bag. Okay.
I can't curse on the show. I mark it.
I know, but you know, I'm trying to be more of a family man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm just trying. But he fumbled. Isaiah Thomas, not his fault. Not his fault. Isaiah Thomas, 5'9" guard who just dropped 81 points in the Drew League. This man was in place to win, to get a max deal. And a max deal in the NBA is minimum 175 for like 5 years. He was probably gonna get 175, 180, 200, something like that. And he went from that to signing a $6 million deal, to signing a $2 million deal. And now 100, and then last year he played on 10-day minimums, made $150,000 last year. This man went from damn near 200 million to a combined less than 10 million in the last 3 seasons combined. And now he has to go show out in the Drew League, drop 81, and start crying in the hallway that they gave up on him. I mean, that's not a lot. It's not his fault, but damn, that's a bag that was fumble. Okay. And the big one for me, Latrell Sprewell. Man, we know about the Sprewells, man, the damn rims, and Latrell was that dude, choked his coach, but bounced back, was great in Minnesota, in New York, great in New York. We loved him in New York. I loved him in New York. Allen Houston, Latrell Sprewell, we love them guys. He's in 2004, 2005 season, they offered him a 3-year, $21 million deal. He said, nah, I don't want that deal. Guess what? He never made another dollar in the NBA again. This man walked away from 20. All he had to do was sign his name on the contract, because the NBA will guarantee your damn money. I mean, I see Luol Deng was still making money off the Lakers. He hasn't played basketball in 5 years. All he had to do was say, I'll do it. $21 million down the drain, flushed it down the drain. That is a bag that was fumbled. And then this all season, Jawan James of the Denver Broncos tore his Achilles doing his own personal workout, and he had $10 million guaranteed for 2021. Oh, not so fast. Took his $10 million out of his hand. It took $10 million out of his hand and said, nope, you can't go get that. So that was a bag that was fumbled, not because of anything he did wrong, but he should have been working out in a different stadium instead of working out at home, basically.
Read your contract language.
Read your contract. And then I don't call this a bag that's fumbled, but the dumbest contract that we've seen recently on The Last Dance, Scottie Pippen signing a 7-year deal for $18 million. We talking about Dennis Schroeder getting paid $5.9 million. We call him a bag fumbler. Scottie Pippen's a top 50 player of all time, and signed a 7-year deal for $18 million, and then try to hold out. Oh, and he pulled what's his name? Michael Thomas. God, I'm gonna wait to get this surgery. Oh, I'm gonna just wait. I'm gonna bet on myself. And they still won a championship. He still had to come back. He still won a championship. So that's not a bag that was fumbled. That was just a contract that his agent screwed the pooch on that one. So those are my bag fumble. And then Bobby Bonilla. That's not a bag that's fumbled. That's
the biggest.
That's just the greatest contract ever.
Man,
that's the Mets. The Mets screwed up on that one.
Yeah. All right, so that was our fun segment. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Let me go through the rundown. You can find us on Twitter at fair_weather_pod, IG, Facebook, YouTube. Just search the Fair Weather Podcast. You'll find us there. And wherever you subscribe to podcasts or listen, you can hear us there.
Yeah, man. Let's shout out to the Danny Granger, the biggest signing in the. I call him Danny Granger, Danny Green. Jeez, shout out to Danny Green. You know, the best thing that ever came to Philly. Hopefully Ben Simmons picks up the phone so we can trade him to Portland. We're gonna get Dame Dollar on the way. Listen to that new song. He got an album dropping this month. Shout out to Cardiac Kimba, because I know you New York Knicks fans think y'all winning the chip this year.
Nah, I don't think so.
And watch some summer league, watch some preseason. It's a weird time of the year. Shout out to the Phillies, first place in the NL East.
Real quick, let me just apologize. These episodes will be a little bit long because we're breaking down, 4 teams and 2 divisions on episodes. So you got 2 more of those, and then we're going to break down some fantasy football and have some fun. We'll have some guests on, some returning, some new faces. So guys, just get ready. It's going to be full gas, no break. That's my
no breaks. We outside. Shout out to the Locks. Just want to say that.
We gave him a shout last week, but yeah.
I know, but still, start to the lot. All right, peace.